Hey guys, and welcome to my video, sort of a challenge. This is going to be a challenge for me. This video I'm planning on challenging myself to read 10 books that I handpicked myself before I can buy any books. Lately I've been having this sudden urge to make purchases of books. I haven't done it yet, I'm still on my book buying ban, but because I have been reading much less than I used to back in 2014, I couldn't really justify buying books only like 3 months into the year. So I was like, I'm just gonna make this thing where I'm gonna pick 10 books that I've always wanted to read but never got the chance to read and read them. And once I read them, I can go out and buy a couple of books, sort of like to reward myself. So I have the 10 books right here. They're all books I've been wanting to read for ages, so I should be very excited about it. I know this is gonna take a while, maybe 2 months. I'm hoping to tackle those and not read anything else other than like a couple of review books, but hopefully I will be making some book purchases in June or May, because I need to buy what is that book? P.S. I Still Love You. I gotta buy that book. Okay, so let's get started with the books. The first book I am hoping to read, and I'll actually be reading this month, which is April, is Blood Promise by Rochelle Mead. This is the 4th book in the Vampire Academy series, and I recently read Shadow Kiss last month, and then I read the first 2 books last year. So I'm hoping to finish this series by June, because I have 2 more books left after these, so April, May, June, and then I can finally go out and buy the Bloodline series and read them. I then am hoping to finally read Dangerous Girls by Abigail Haas. I've read her other book, Dangerous Boys, and I fairly enjoyed it, but I heard that this one is so much better than Dangerous Boys, and this is a psychological thriller. They went on this like vacation, party time, whatever, in the city, or in the Aruba, which is in Africa, and someone or one of their friends was found dead, and I guess the main protagonist, was accused of the murder, and she's put on trial in like Aruba, and like all that stuff happens, but there's like a huge twist to it. So I'm very excited to read this and finally find out what all the hype was about. I am then hoping to read one of the first books I ever saw when I first started reading YA contemporary, and then I bought that book and I was like, oh my god, I have it and I should read it, and several times I've actually picked it up, read the first chapter, and never continued with it, and that book is 10 Things We Did and Probably Shouldn't Have by Sarah Malinowski. I don't know if I've read any book by her, but I mean, she's like a typical contemporary writer, author, and I heard really good things about this one. It's a fun, cute read. You'll notice I have a lot. Actually, I don't have a lot. I tried picking some like really short, cute, fun reads, but I failed to do that miserably and only picked up 2 out of the 10. But I mean, this was one of the books that I was like obsessing over buying, and then I bought it and then I never read it. Like, that's my life story. Then I'll be picking up Origin by Jennifer L. Armentrout, the 4th book to the Lux series. This is a 5-book series, and the 5th one, Opposition, is actually on Book Outlet right now. I really wanted to buy it, but I have to read this one first before buying it. I have this rule where I can't just buy sequels without reading the first books, or the books before them. So I'm hoping on also reading this one, and then when I can finally treat myself, I will be buying Opposition. Another book I'll be reading is Angel Fall by Susan E. I really pushed back reading this whole series, or trilogy, actually it's a trilogy now, and starting it because I thought it was a 5-book series and that was the plan, but then it got demoted to a 3-book series, and the 3rd book is coming out very soon. I think it's called End of Days. I'm not 100% sure. I own the first 2 because I got them as a birthday gift from Gisela Bruckner, Canada, but I'm only going to be reading the first one in this challenge because I'm not sure if I'm going to love it or not, and I don't want to include both and then struggle through finishing it. So I will be reading this one, and it's about angels or fallen angels. I have no problem with fallen angels because different authors have different takes on them, and I've read some pretty amazing takes on angels from the series by Jessica Shervington. with the Violet Eden chapter series. I love that series so much. As well as from the Rephaim series by Paula Weston. She is, oh my god, that series is freaking amazing, and it's like, it hovers between NA and YA, and I just love that series so much. So I'm hoping that I will also love this one, and it's like a post-apocalyptic story about a world where angels are the ones that are ruling it. I think that's pretty much all I got. And I also Rafe. Everyone raves about Rafe. Another book I'm hoping to read is Live Through This by Mindy Scott. This book and I go way back before it came out, where I read at one of the blogs that I follow. I read like an excerpt about it, like in like a little author interview, and I read that and I'm like, I need this book in my life ASAP. And I just never got it, and then I found it on Book Outlet and I like did a hurrah moment and I bought it, and I'm hoping that I'll read it because it's actually fairly short. But again, I never got the chance to read it. I never even tried reading it. So I feel like I will be reading this and I'm going to enjoy it. And it's blurbed by Stephanie Perkins. So I don't know why this isn't as popular. Because, I mean, it's blurbed by Stephanie Perkins. I would think it is. But still, yeah, this is... I don't know much about it, but I think... it looks like a typical contemporary, but it still has issues. And... yeah, I don't know. The cover looks a bit like dorkish, so we'll see about that. Another book that I've always wanted to read is Uninvited by Sophie Jordan. My sister read this as an e-arc and loved it. Plus it has like genetics infused in it, and I'm hoping that this is gonna be kick butt. It's about a girl who has a genetic predisposition to turning into a serial killer. Apparently there's a genetic code in there that tells whether you will grow up to be a serial killer or not, and if you do have that mark or markup or whatever, then they put you in this little contained area with all the other potential serial killers. I don't know, I guess they don't believe in the nature versus nurture, and they believe in the whole nature part and not the nurture part in terms of, you know, that. So yeah, I would think that if you point at someone and tell them you will grow up to be a serial killer, they will grow up to be that, but who am I to speak? So I'm going to be reading this one, and I'm super excited to see what the philosophy is about behind this whole book and like the science and all that. Very excited for this. There are 3 more books left, so far I feel like I can breeze through a lot of these. The next one, I'm not hoping it won't be a challenge in terms of reading, but I mean, it's like a 50-50 thing because a lot of people really didn't like that book and a lot of people loved it, so it's a hit and miss. And it's The Scorpio Races by Maggie Stiefvater. I'm a huge Maggie Stiefvater fan. I read her Shiver or Wolves of Mercy Fall trilogy way back when it first came out, and then I got up on the bandwagon of the Raven Cycle quartet, and I love that series so much. And then I also read the spin-off to the Wolves of Mercy Fall, which is Sinner, and I adore that so much. So the only books I haven't read by her are this book and her little Fae series, but I have an issue with Fae books. I never read Fae books, so I'm definitely not going to be reading that. So Scorpio Races, my sister tried reading that one, she DNF'd it. So many people tried reading it and so many people tried DNFing it, and then there's the other people who loved it. So I'm hoping I'm part of the other people. I do know Maggie Stiefvater, especially with her Raven Cycle series. It takes her a while to get into a story, so I'm definitely going to be very patient with this book and hoping I will be rewarded in the end for it. So 2 more books down. The book before the last is Psych Major Syndrome by Alicia Thompson. Another story about this one is that when I first discovered book reviewing and reading, and not reading but like young adult reading, before I didn't used to read YA books, I stumbled upon this little book and I loved the sound of it. I looked everywhere, could not find it anywhere in bookstores and such. That was before like online shopping was a thing for me, and then I found it, like I forgot about it for a couple of, I don't know, years, I guess, months, I don't know. And then I saw it on Book Outlet and I'm like, I'm definitely buying it. That's when I went to the actual store, and it was a scratch and dent apparently for like $2. So I picked it up, and it's about a college student. So this is back before NA didn't exist, and this was also labeled as YA. And it's about a college student who is majoring in psychology, hence the psych major psych syndrome title. So I'm very excited for this one, and it looks like it's going to be a cute yet a bit mature contemporary. The last book that I'll be reading is Not a Drop to Drink by Mindy McGinnis. I love the sound of this book. Water becoming rare, like a very rare thing, and this is actually something that could potentially happen, like fresh water, clean, drinkable water. And this girl's, I guess her uncle's house or something, they find a well, and then she has to protect that well because everyone wants the water because there's no fresh water anymore in the world. And it's quite short, and there's a sequel which is actually set, or it's actually like a companion which is set 10 years later from when this book is set, so this can be treated as a standalone, and I'm hoping that I will enjoy it because I love the sound of this book, and I love post-apocalyptic, I guess, in some way, natural post-apocalyptic books, survival books, and this is one of them. So this is it in terms of the books that I will be reading before I can buy any books. I will be keeping you updated at the end of each month. When I do my wrap-up, I'll mention how many of the books out of 10 I've read so far, and I will not be buying any new books. So the part of the new books are books that I have not read. There are a lot of books that I have read and want to buy, but again, I'm only going to buy them if they're a bargain price. I'm trying to limit my spending money in terms of books because I have too many books. And yeah, let me know which books you guys want me to read first, and yeah, I guess make me excited about the books. I can read them all and finish them and can finally buy the 4 books I've been wanting to buy, which are Written in the Stars, Catalyst, The Start of You and Me, and Otherworld. Yeah, those are the 4 that I really want to read. And then of course I want to buy P.S. I Still Love You. This is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys added some of these to your ever-growing TBR because that's what we do. And have a nice day. Bye.